Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte. What's going on? Oh man, thanks for tuning in to Dre's channel. I want to talk about Dillian Whyte, the body snatcher, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, as well as a little bit about AJ and a little bit about Usyk. Alright, so it may be a longer video than usual, but I want to cover those things. Thanks for tuning in anyway. As I always say, man, drop a comment. It's always good to hear the feedback. It's always good to hear other people's views. So let's dive straight into it, man. So we got Dillian Whyte. So he beats Povetkin, expecting to be the mandatory, that didn't happen, so he goes to challenge Walling as well, after that, pulls out of that fight, and still he doesn't have the mandatory position. There's a lot of speculation that he should have it, or he should have got it, but, it's been a while, so he hasn't had it since he beat Povetkin. As you all know, man, Fury-Wilder, classic fight, Fury wins by knockout, so he's become the defending WBC champion, and he now has to make a decision. He did say that he wanted to fight Whyte. He did say that he wants to beat Wilder and then have a homecoming fight against Whyte, but now he's saying that he wants to challenge Alexander Usyk. So this isn't making things easier for Whyte, especially because he's not mandatory. So now Whyte's in arbitration trying to force the WBC to give him the mandatory position so that Tyson Fury can't, do other things as you've seen him do in the past. Fury is a very unusual character where, you think things are black and white, but really they're not, He always seems to complicate things or, go on his own path or his own journey, So I don't blame Whyte for going ahead with the arbitration, just to get some, certification that he is going to fight Fury next. As I say, Fury, you never know what he's going to do. So why not force the fight? So we got that situation, where Whyte's waiting for the arbitration, because Whyte wasn't mandatory at the time. Fury has had 30 days to activate a fight with Usyk, and he, for the undisputed, and he's called him out, he's saying that, listen, I want to fight Usyk next. Usyk hasn't responded to that, but Joshua has, Joshua has responded to it. And what I've saw of AJ, man, is he's saying that, if the business move is right, he'll make it. That's what he's saying, He's saying that he's a businessman. He's also mentioned that he would like to fight Fury and Whyte next, So it seems that Dillian Whyte's case is a lot complicated. Not complicated, but these other guys aren't making it easier for him, It's not like Joshua saying, listen, man, there's no way I'm going to have a step aside, It's not like Usyk is saying, the fight's happening. There's no announcement or anything like that, So it really is up in the air, So 30 days from October the 9th, which I believe was the date of the Fury-Wilder. I could be wrong, man. This is just going off memory. So 30 days is around the corner, people. It's December the 1st now. So we're almost at, 3/4 of that. So I'll expect the decision to be made soon from the arbitration, in favour of Dillian Whyte. I don't see why they should not allow him to fight. He's been fighting for the WBC for a long time. Tyson Fury hasn't really made much money for the WBC, man. He's only had one title defence. So it makes sense for them to favour Whyte. Make him the mandatory to fight Fury. That makes perfect sense to me. So we'll see what happens with that, man. Xavier Miller's saying that, they're training for that fight. So obviously the shoulder is better. If he was injured, man, I can only go with what the trainer says. So they're training for that fight now, which they should. He's going to need all the training that he can get to try to beat Fury. So yeah, that's that situation. I see Dillian Whyte getting favoured. WBC granting Whyte the mandatory position to finally get a title shot. He hasn't had one title shot in his career, which is a shock, especially because he's managed with Eddie Hearn and all that. It's shocking that they haven't given him the opportunity to, even if he had fought AJ as a voluntary, that they're both in the same, they both have the same manager, so it's very shocking to me that they haven't, given him a title shot, Dillian Whyte. Because all the people that he's fought has all had belts or titles, and he's never had, and he's beaten a lot of guys that's had ex-champions and all that, man, but he's never had a title shot. So, the WBC really needs to just give him a chance. He's been fighting for them for a while. He was the interim champion for a while. They need to just give it to him, There shouldn't be any delays in that. So, yeah, that's my take on that. Now I want to talk about that AJ talk, what he was saying about business and all that, man. So, he's saying that if the offer's good, man, he may step aside. He didn't say I'll step aside, but he's saying, if it's a good business move, I'll make it. He's now training with multiple people. He's now serious about the fight, man. I don't believe that he will take the step aside. He's also said that I'm all about being a throwback fighter. He's had a lot of tough fights, Joshua. So I don't see him taking the step aside, He's just saying what his morals are. He's just saying what he's all about, I don't see him taking the step aside money. I think that it will look bad on his reputation and all that as well. People will say that he ducked them and all that. I know he doesn't care about that, man, but I don't think that he will do it. But for him to even mention something like that, is a bit concerning. He did say that he's been thinking about the fight a lot. And what's not to think about? He tried everything he can against Usyk, and it seemed like he gave up. Now he's saying that he's hungry and all that, man. But going to different trainers, and he's also said that he wants to fight Whyte and Fury as well. He would prefer if he was fighting them. So it seems that Usyk has really shook him up. It seems that Usyk is really the lion in the division, as the toughest fight for AJ. I don't think that Fury's too worried about Usyk, but I think that AJ is because he lost to him the way that he did. He had no answers for him. But now I want to talk about this, how people are saying Usyk is the best. Usyk has lost before. I know it's a long time ago. I know people will say, that was different, man. I was in the amateurs against Sean Porter, and Porter said, Usyk was winning the first couple of rounds, which is exactly how I would see it today, exactly how I would see it against Joshua. I see Usyk winning rounds. But he said what he done, this is what Joshua really needs to focus on, to gain his confidence. To gain his confidence where to the point he ain't talking about no business moves about money and stuff like that, man. It's just strictly, I want redemption. I want to get my belt back, man. I want to challenge the same guy, you know. The way to get that confidence is to, you know, watch the fight or talk to Porter even. The way that he done it, he was the orthodox fighter, Porter. You know, Usyk is obviously southpaw. So the way that he done it, man, is he hit him with the right hand and he just chased him down. You know, he just chased him down. So he was down 2 rounds and he hit him with the right hand and he chased him down. You see, Usyk has a good poker face. You know, Usyk, when he gets hit, he jumps out of the pocket and jumps back in and throws a few punches. So it seems like he's not hurt. You know, you got to be on him like there's no tomorrow. You know, once you hurt him, man, you got to just go for it. Throw whatever you've got, man. Push him. Try to corner him off to the ropes, push him back, man, and just keep applying that pressure. Don't let him recover. You know, that's the way to beat Usyk. You know, that's the way to beat him. I mean, don't even think about trying to outbox him, man. You ain't going to lose in that department. You know, you've got to hurt him, push him back, man, and apply the pressure. Don't let him breathe too much. I mean, you saw Chisora, he troubled him a bit, you know, in the first 3-4 rounds. And that's what he done too, you know. Don't let him breathe. Just keep pushing him back. Keep going after him. Chase him down, man. You know, he is a cruiserweight coming up to heavyweight, man. Show him what the heavyweights are all about, you know, which is power, force, knockouts, you know. So yeah, man, that's what I wanted to say, you know. That's what I wanted to say, man. Usyk is a great fighter, but he has been beaten before. I know that it was a long time ago, man, but that is the way to beat him. Does Joshua have what it takes? I mean, you saw him against Klitschko. You saw that fight that he had in him, man. You saw that not giving up, man, applying the pressure on Klitschko. He needs to bring that same energy in this fight, you know. Put all the technical, put all the, you know, jab on the back foot fighting, throw that out the window, man, and just chase him down, man, hit him with the right hand lead, which you did in the first fight. You got him with the right hand knee. Do it again, man, and just hunt him down until he can't, until he's hurt. Break him down, slow him down, finish him off. That's the way to beat him, man. That's the way to beat Usyk. Has Usyk learned from that Porter loss? I would say, of course, you know, but I mean, I'm just saying, you know, sometimes it's the small things that you got to look at, you know, to give you the bigger picture of the way to do things, you know, and I believe that's the way to beat Usyk. Something that Fury, I believe, would do, you know, something that Fury would do would be press him, apply the pressure, you know, use the weight, you know, I believe Fury will do that to Usyk. And, you know, that's what you got to do, man. But, so yeah, man, that's, you know, those are the things that I wanted to talk about in the video. Whyte deserves the shot, man. Give the guy a shot, you know, he's getting on. Joshua, man, you need to get that fight back in you, man, you know, get that, I know that it's still in you, man, but I mean, don't even talk about business moves, man. Just, it's all about redemption. It's all about getting what was yours, man. It's all about beating the guy that beat you, you know. That's what it's all about, man. No business move or anything like that, man, was gonna, you know, give you more satisfaction in beating Usyk, you know, getting your titles back. Possibly in his turf, you know, that will be great. As you know, Kambosos was saying, you know, I'm the champion, fight me on my turf, you know, it's a similar thing. You know, I believe that will be a good thing if Joshua went to Usyk's backyard and knocked him out, you know, that'll be a statement. But yeah, I see that fight happening next. Joshua, Usyk, and Whyte Fury, you know, so hopefully those are the next 2 fights. Hopefully this arbitration, you know, moves quicker. and they make a decision. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Once it's made, I'll do a breakdown on that fight. But thanks for hearing me out, man. Thanks for tuning in. If you watched the whole video, man, I thank you for that. For your time. Please leave a comment. Thanks for tuning in, man. Southgate's View. Peace. God bless.